everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Octopath Traveler 2. If you're familiar with turn-based role-playing games, then this game might seem really familiar to you. It's a game in the same genre as the old Final Fantasy games, with a modern coat of paint on it and a unique story. As such, the visual experience is what the fans of 16-bit games thought they were seeing when those games were brand new. But visuals aren't everything. And while the visuals of the game are charming, the focus is clearly on other things. So the gameplay should be fun, right? The gameplay of Octopath Traveler 2 is about the same as the first. You're on a role-playing fantasy adventure with turn-based combat encounters. The characters in your party will have specialized roles that will either be designed around damage dealing or support such as healing. The roles are typical for the genre, which is in turn taking inspiration from Dungeons & Dragons. Octopath Traveler 2 also has a combat mechanic of finding an enemy's specific weakness to exploit in combat, alongside breaking enemy shields to make them vulnerable to further damage. Unfortunately, you'll have to expect spending some time leveling up characters to keep up with areas of the game. Outside of combat, you'll be traveling through areas and dungeons with puzzles and quests that will need to be done in order to progress the story. Speaking of the story, let's talk about that. The story of Octopath Traveler 2, as the name suggests, has 8 different storylines. While it is a sequel, the game takes a Final Fantasy approach in not requiring you to have played the previous game since the stories are self-contained. Each of the characters give you a different perspective of an ultimately converging storyline. The stories follow characters ranging from a noble warrior to a thief. All in all, the game is about 70 to 80 hours long, and that is mostly the main storyline. So you can expect to be spending quite some time playing the game. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat? So this game has, I think, such a charming and such a great visual representation to it. I love the style. It's so reminiscent of the old retro JRPGs. And, I grew up on those. I grew up on the Final Fantasies. I grew up with, Golden Sun on the GBA, which was another great JRPG. Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger. There's so many out there. And this pays homage to so many of them in such a great way. But I really think that, unfortunately, there's just some things about it that probably won't really jive very well with the modern audiences. Like we were talking about with that kid who's like scrolling on TikTok and playing a game at the same time.
Those graphics are outdated.
It's not gonna. Well, not only the graphics, it's just like the fact that you have to spend so much time doing certain things in the game. I don't think people are going to be really excited. Me personally, this is a repeat, 100%.
Really? Wow.
100% for me. This is a repeat, but yeah. I understand it's not for everyone. But yeah, I'm curious, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to tell you right now, it's not for everyone, and it's not for me. I'm definitely going to pause it. I'm not going to play it twice. I mean, I think what's really cool about the game is it has 0 connections with the previous games. They did make a prequel on the mobile game, and then, obviously on the PC as well. There is a great fusion between, pixel art and 3D graphics, but I think long are the days of Pokemon Yellow. I think we're over, these style of graphics. May work out on the mobile phone, but not necessarily for me. And I think it's really cool that there's 8 new characters and stories. But, doesn't this feel a bit like Fallout 2, Henrick? I mean, yeah, you get to, get the skills to steal, uncover secrets, do these things. But, like, come on, man.
I mean, I would make the argument that, sometimes a bit of the old school is a necessity and also is a good time, You can go back to some of those older games and still have a good time, right? So
yeah, I think that's a good point.
Why
I guess
try... Why not try it again?
No, I think that's a good point, and I guess the only thing that I will say about this game is it is refreshing to know that there is a new game out there that's not a remake or a remaster, because the whole first 4 months of 2023 has been dominated by old games. So if you want something new, something refreshing, this game might be for you, but Henrick, I'm going to say pause.
I mean, fair enough, like I said, but I still think you're wrong, honestly.